This is Dolynny TV, ladies and gentlemen. Finally, today we got the news. Oh, yes, we've been waiting for it for 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, my goodness, I've lost count. Dave Tippett's finally the Edmonton Oilers head coach. That's official. Let's get on with it. We don't need to mull over how long we've been knowing this for. Same thing with the Ken Holland thing, mind you. But today we get official word, and today now we can start making sense of what Ken Holland having Dave Tippett as head coach means for the Edmonton Oilers next year, moving forward, whatever term you want to use. What does it mean? And it means a couple of interesting things, I think, in my mind. Well, you know what? I'm a hardcore Oilers fan. I talk every second customer at work has to hear something about the Oilers. I'm in enemy territory. I'm around Calgary area, so I mean, it's a hard conversation to have, but you get some insight from some people that aren't necessarily in your view set as, well, most of us seem to be here on Dolynny TV a lot of the time. So, with that removed, what am I getting at? I'm getting at the fact that today, talking about Dave Tippett to Flames fans, Canucks fans, people who really just don't care but know the name, that kind of deal, the one main thing, actually two main things came up in those conversations. Number one, and I mean, you're probably going to come out, if you're easily offended, you're probably going to come out with, that is the most Albertan thing I could say. I'll own it, I'll wear it because I'm going to say it anyways. Essentially, the number one thing I heard about Dave Tippett being hired in Edmonton today by the Oilers is the fact that are the snowflakes in the Oilers organization, the players-wise, going to be able to handle having him as a head coach. That one kind of shocked me that that's where people's heads were at, especially not Oilers fans. That's not coming from Oilers fans. That's coming from Flames and Canucks fans that I talked to at work today. So mind you where that's coming from. And number two, holy crap, they're actually going to have to play a system. And I'm going to get to that in a second because that is huge in terms of, well, you take one and two in hand and you start getting some sense. So, number one, Dave Tippett, right away from opposing fans. Mind you, this is 2 or 3 people, but opposing fans who have been around hockey a lot longer than I have. Guys, these are people middle-aged that I'm talking about, talking to me about this. So, I mean, I've been around hockey since 05-06 as a hardcore sport in my life. So, that's not a long time to see the trends of how yesterday's NHL became today's NHL per se. So, with that in mind as well, keep everything in mind because hopefully I'll make some big extravagant point at the end of this video and we'll all make sense of what I'm trying to say. But with that in mind, guys, you sit there and you look at these guys saying he's going to demand a system. He's going to demand they play hard. And that's one thing going back to probably the last 20 games of the regular season in 18-19. What I was saying all that time was if the Oilers would just damn well play with heart and hustle out there, we'd stand a chance to win. And that's, to this quote, exactly where I'm going. Tony Brar of Oilers TV ended up bringing up a point to Dave Tippett in his interview where he was asking, you know, you've got not exactly veteran experience in the NHL like Ken Hitchcock had. He had a games coach number that I can't remember. I didn't write it down. However, he asked him, how do you take this team from being a team that wants to make the playoffs to being a playoff team? Dave Tippett responds in kind, you've got to earn the right to be a playoff team, then goes on to say that he thinks there's enough in the room to work hard to be a playoff team. Now, of course, there is the caveat that he did talk a little bit about Ken Holland's future plans for the roster this offseason. So, what's in the room? Are we talking all 25 guys that played for the Oilers last year? Or are we talking about, well, Connor McDavid, Leon Draisaitl, Nugent Hopkins, Nurse, Clefbaum, Koskinen, so on and so forth, right? What are we talking about? And that's the question. But you look at that quote and essentially go back to what I was harping the Oilers to do for the final 20 games of the season, when between days we might be 3 points back or 7 points back of a playoff spot, and realistically all they had to do is go out there, play with heart, and hustle. And what does that mean? Work hard. So you take back to point number 1 there about the coaches, or about Dave Tippett not allowing snowflakes in his dressing room. Well, that's exactly where I'm going with that. Is the other people, the Flames fans and Canucks fans I talked to today. That's where they're going with it too. Is the simple fact that if you're not going to show up and work hard, you're not going to have a place on the team. Oh, you don't like that? Guess what? I got hired by this general manager. This general manager is my guy. Guess what? Get over it, get out of town kind of deal, I think, is going to be the attitude taken on not Connor McDavid, Leon Draisaitl, the guys I've already named. No, the guys that, didn't want to do the job last year. Specifically, I'm looking at a guy like Milan Lucic, who honestly, Milan Lucic, Toby Reeder, we already disregard because, well, he's gone anyway. Bob Nicholson said that long ago. But you look at a guy like Milan Lucic, and I hate to take this momentous occasion of hiring a new head coach, our 8th in 10 years, and turn it around on Milan Lucic. But essentially, now you've gone through 3 coaches. You had one great year, depending what you call great, under Todd McLellan. Then, all of a sudden, nothing goes right for Milan Lucic. Guys, honestly, in the game of hockey, if you want something to go right, you have to make it go right for yourself. Not necessarily by doing it all yourself, but playing a team game and going out there and working hard. And one thing Oilers fans love to harp on Lucic for is the simple fact that 90% of his shifts, he doesn't look like he's working hard out there. So, now you've got Dave Tippett, who outside fans expect, demands that people work hard. Well, what does that bring you? What does that bring you? Well, that brings you some decisions that Ken Holland and Dave Tippett will have to make on the roster. So this is, again, only day 2 officially of the offseason. Yesterday, after everybody finished playing on Sunday, it's day 2 officially. We now have our general manager and head coach in and locked up. Bang. What does that mean? Well, now, like I said, you understand where Tippett's coming from. You understand what everyone's coming to do. And now we get to my next Tippett quote that I've got scheduled here. And here we go. Dave Tippett and the Oilers fan hysteria that, oh my God, he's going to make Connor McDavid a defensive centerman. Well, let me tell you, Sidney Crosby is one of the best defensive centermen in the game. And guess what? He is one of the best offensive centermen in the NHL as well. So Dave Tippett, to ease the fears that we all have, that realistically at this point, guys, we should not have an expectation of failure, success. Honestly, I like the meh attitude of show and prove. I don't look at myself as a defensive coach or an offensive coach. I look at myself as a coach that tries to find a way to win with the people that I have. So there you go. That's the system that it's going to take. Dave Tippett will evaluate his roster now, in a few days, in a month's time, in a week's time, whatever. By October 5th, he'll know what he has to play the way we have to win. That's as simple as I think I can break it down, is the fact that within a little bit of time here, we're going to be able to figure out how the Oilers win. Because yes, the simple answer as to how the Oilers win is the simple fact that Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl are the best players in the NHL when it comes to a tandem that can play center and wing at the same time, right? Obviously, Draisaitl's that guy, but Connor McDavid's the guy who drives the top line with Draisaitl on there. So, yeah, that's a bold claim, but Crosby, Malkin, really? Name me 2 centermen that can do as well as McDavid and Draisaitl, but that's where it comes down to. And I know there's supposedly some option exploring being done about how to deploy Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl. At the end of the day, I don't think Oilers fans have a right to complain if we end up winning. And that's what a lot of you guys have said in the comments for a long time now, is I don't care anymore, just win. And I'm on board. I'm on the show and proofs train all the way. So here we go. Dave Tippett, all he has to do things right is find a way for the Oilers to win. And my starting point with that is getting the players, the supposed snowflakes that the outside fans were talking about, that don't want to work hard and play to win, out of the team, off the ice, out of the organization, cooked, sorry, you wasted your chance, and get some people that want to win. I understand now. There comes the comment, oh my God, the salary cap says something different, Tyson. Guess what? You have a way to work this roster, more ways to Sunday than a lot of people think. We got to give it a chance, and Ken Holland, I think, is committed to doing that. So right now, we've got our team. Ken Holland in the GM and President of Hockey Operations chair, and Dave Tippett as head coach. It's official now. We've got our direction. Let's go. Let's get on it. Let's get going. And guys, as simple as I can say, going forwards, let's go Oilers, and let's show and prove. Not just to ourselves, not just to the players, not just to management, not just to Daryl Cates. Let's show and prove to the NHL, because one other thing I've got for you before is the CBC Calgary sports team absolutely destroying the Oilers on public radio, just absolutely ripping them on. I know it's Calgary. Come on, I shouldn't get so worked up. But that is the low, cheap shots we've opened ourselves up to over these 12 years of failure, 1 year of success kind of deal. So now it's our turn to show and prove that we can go out there and win and earn the right to be a playoff hockey team. Guys, I'm Tyson. This is Dolynny TV. As always, I will catch you in the comments down below. I am up on out of here.